fool. Hit him, 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 hit him. Smash him up, watch that move. Went too swift, can't catch these dudes. Hit him, 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 hit him. Listen, 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 hit him, listen. This Eagles talk, this talk Eagles. Philly bleed green is from your people. Fly, Eagles, fly. Let's beat the squad. Big Pat Shelley, I tell you, dark job. Drop the stats on them, drop the facts on them. Spur gang, baby, let's get it on.
Hey, fam, it's your man Dante the Dark Knight, and welcome to Upon Further Review, Eagles Talk, where we recap the Eagles' last football game, and that was Sunday, a close win over the New Orleans Saints. Our Philadelphia Eagles defense showed up to the party finally, and we got a win out of it. We came out of New Orleans with a win. We went in, our fans went in partying on the streets of Bourbon Street, and they got to end the weekend with a party on Bourbon Street because we got the victory over the New Orleans Saints. We held a very explosive, high-powered New Orleans offense that was averaging 45 points to just 12 points. And that was a big win for not only our team, but our defense, who had not been performing as well up until that point. So I'm still riding the high. I'm still happy. I listened to a little sports talk this week, and they were killing Nick, and he deserved to be murdered. I'm sorry on that tip. I mean, nobody wants to murder Nick, but I'm just saying he deserved the criticism that I was hearing him receive on the outlets and things like that. But overall, it's a win. So I'm going to be happy about that win as we face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But let's talk about that win on Sunday. Pat, welcome to the show. Good to see you. How you feeling? How you doing? How was your week?
I'm feeling much better than Sunday. I'll tell you that right now. But it's been a great week so far. This win has lifted up the spirits of the Philadelphia, even though some people has villainized Nick Sirianni and called for the head of Jalen Hurts all at the same time after a W is unfathomable. But that's Philadelphia for you. You gotta love us, you gotta hate us.
I don't know how you call for. No, I'm not going to lie. No, I could see how you can call for Nick's head. I mean, not that that's going to happen, but I can understand the dismay that the fan base may have with Nick. But I don't know how you can. I don't know why you would be calling for Jalen's head, because outside of, and the fumble was definitely his fault, but the interception, that's 50-50 on whose fault that actually was. Because when you look at the replay, it looks like Devontae did not cut in front of the receiver, and Jalen was expecting that to happen. He should have been crossing in front of the defender, and he got kind of muscled out of the way. So I don't necessarily think that was a bad decision on Jalen's part. I think it was a good decision. I think some of the fault might have fell on Devontae more than Jalen. And when you look at his numbers outside of that interception, they were spectacular. Outside of that interception, his percent, he was very efficient. I think he made good decisions with the ball, as evident by his completion percentage and the such. And he is the one that checked into that play that gained Goddard 61 yards. So let's not forget that. So I think Jalen did an excellent job outside of those 2 turnovers. He's got to slow that down, but I think he was very efficient on Sunday.
Yeah, I would like to discuss it more. Let's do the shot first.
All right. Okay. So you are listening to Eagles Talk, the most unique Eagles coverage show around, that's by Eagles fans for Eagles fans. And here on Eagles Talk, we like to talk about our favorite football team, that is the Philadelphia Eagles. We do so in such a relaxed manner that we enjoy our favorite adult beverage in the form of shots. So I am doing cranberry juice today. I'm just doing cranberry juice. And Pat is back at it after being a little down. He was like on injury reserve on Sunday. But he's back. He's back. He was like the players in the game. We was losing players left and right. We lost Pat on Sunday. Pat was all right. So Pat, what are you doing? A tequila today?
I'll do a tequila, the Romantica, and Nayo. Yes, sir.
All right, tequila today. So, all right, you guys, we're still celebrating. Sunday's game hasn't come up, and we're still coming off a win, so we're still celebrating. So let's take a shot in celebration of our Philadelphia Eagles and their win this past Sunday. So, down the hatch, 3, 2, 1.
You're now listening to the
All right, so I just got finished talking about Jalen Hurts, and I don't know why people wish death upon him, or, or criticizing him so heavily. I know the turnovers are a concern. I know that, but I heard someone make a very good case, and I'm thinking in the same vein. And they were like, the great quarterbacks have turnovers. They throw interceptions. They have turnovers, but you live with that because of the upside that they have. And I'm not comparing them to great quarterbacks, but I think Jalen's kind of in that category. You kind of live with that because of what he can do in other areas. I mean, you want him to make better decisions, but let's not forget, and I'm not comparing him to this guy, but Brett Favre was one of the most, he threw a lot of interceptions. Yeah. We don't even have to go back that far. Let's just be fair about it. If you're going to judge Jalen on that, Josh Allen threw just as many interceptions last year as Jalen Hurts. Let's not get it twisted. And you guys still have him listed as a top 3 quarterback. So, you can't have a guy that throws the same amount of interceptions and one guy is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and the other guy you want to crucify him for that. I mean, Pat Mahomes, Jalen and Pat have the same amount of interceptions this year right now today. And you guys still consider Pat Mahomes the best thing since sliced bread. I ain't gonna lie, he is good. I'm not saying that he's not, but I'm just saying he had 4 interceptions also. Nobody's talking about running him out of town. So I mean, what do you think, Pat?
Well, think about it, and I listen to talk show radio all week, and I listen to people call in, I listen to these talk show hosts, and it got to a point where I had to turn it off because I do understand the concern, not only with the interceptions but with the fumbles. The fumbles is becoming a real big issue. These fumbles and these turnovers are in critical situations. These mistakes that are happening at this particular time, like you said, Devontae got out muscle. He didn't get out muscle. He ran a lazy route, to be honest with you. And Jalen stared him down. His head, if you watch the tape, his head did not go from anywhere from that location where Devontae was. And Tyrann Mathieu was just sitting back there reading it. It's like, a grown kid taking it from a little kid in Halloween. But, he has been very efficient this year. He did, like you said, he did check out that play, but we want more from him, right? Because you look at it, you look at the beginning of the game, how he was going up and down the field. Dark Knight, we was going up and down the field. Interception in the red zone, a fumble when you're like these are the things that we need him to mature with, to understand that you can't stare your receiver down. This is your 4th year. You should get that out of your head by now. And also when you're taking off, this thing about putting the ball at your waist while you're running, like it's a loaf. Like I understand that you're comfortable doing that, but at the same time, you need to protect that football all times because everybody's diving and trying to get after that football. And that's the most viable thing about this team. If you do not turn the ball over, this team becomes a giant. This team becomes a giant. Now, I get it. The first 3 games, preseason's over. We got all the Knicks out, but we're down 2 receivers in the left and a right tackle. So Jalen Hurts, it's time for you to show that those 3 games were they're in the past. You want to keep the main thing. And this week, you can come out and have an efficient game. You don't have to be the hero. You got Saquon back there being a hero. You got Dallas Goedert being a hero. Be efficient in everything that you do. That's all we need from you this week and the rest of the season because you're going to have the weapons after the bye week. It's going to be outstanding after the bye week, dog.
All right, I get it. I get it, and I agree. He has to be more careful with the football. The turnovers are crucial. I get it. You got to take care of the football. And had we done that, and if we do that, I also agree with the fact that this team will be a juggernaut darn near if we don't turn the ball over. You just think about it. It is evident that the team did not stop us. We stopped ourselves on most of our drives. There weren't a lot of drives where the Saints were the cause of us not scoring. There were at least 3 drives or maybe more where we were the cause of us not scoring. Our own team, something, whether it was a turnover, a coach's decision, a penalty, we were more responsible for stopping our offense than the New Orleans Saints defense was. So I get that. So we can ill afford to continue on with these turnovers. For some reason, though, I just have a good feeling that that's something that Jalen is going to improve upon. And I think he has improved from last week's game against the who do we lose to? Against Atlanta. Week's game. I think there's been steady improvement from game to game. I don't think, even the interception in that last game, in Atlanta game, was him trying to make too much happen at the end of the game. Maybe that was his fault, but he was more efficient up until that. That was under a minute interception desperation thing. I'm not going to hold him. I'm not going to hold him over, the barrel for that. But last week's game, again, Devontae played a big role in that. And I think he's just gotten more efficient. All he has to do is just take care of the ball. His performance without the turnovers would have actually been something we would have been praising. Without the turnovers, his performance would have been something that we would have been praising. The way he put the team on his shoulders on that one drive, he seems to be doing that at least once a game now, right? So I think he's going to clean that up. I just have confidence that he will clean that up. But I have been talking, and we have been talking way too long before we bring in our third co-host, and that's you guys in the room. And the first person in the room tonight is our man, our resident from down under Australia, Tony Burren. He says, yo, what's up, Bird fam?
What up?
In the room is Jeremiah. What up, fam? Let's get this win on Sunday. Want to be on again until won't be on again until a week after next. Going on the anniversary / birthday cruise. Oh, that's what's up, Jeremiah. I want you to enjoy yourself to the fullest, man. And don't make no damn ass out of yourself. I don't want to hear no damn reports coming off of the Carnival cruise and they have you on the news joint. I don't want that. I don't want none of my people. I don't want to see you. I don't want to scroll through social media and see you on there like this fool he was partying so hard that he did something. No, I'm only kidding, Jeremiah. Enjoy yourself, man. Enjoy yourself to the fullest. Hemi is in the house. What's up? What up, Fee? What's up, Emmy? Eddie's in the house, my favorite Republican. What's up, Familia? What's up? Let's talk about it, though. How you guys feeling as I bring in the queen of Eagles Talk? Oh, I guess she was trying to bring herself in. Let me bring her in. All right, there you go. The queen of Eagles Talk has joined us. Floyd is in there also. What's up, Floyd? JT is in the house. What's up, Bird?
What up, JT?
What's up? And Travis Mitchell's in the house. And we have a person that's watching on YouTube. Kevin's in the house. What's up, Kev? We got the whole gang, the regulars in place. We're going to talk about it. And we were just talking about Jalen. And I've heard some rumblings about people just going off on Jalen. And I was just like, yo, I don't think that's warranted. I understand about the turnovers, but I only really blame him for one, that fumble. But outside of that, I think that he had a very efficient game. I don't get it.
Did they check his stats?
Yeah, that's what I said. I said, look at his stats.
Did you check the stats? Numbers don't lie. People do. Get out your feelings. Get out your feelings. It's not about the eye test. It's about what numbers did the man put up to help us win that game. If you can't talk about the numbers, you being emotional. If you're not being practical. Too many people are weighing in on our team out of emotions versus reality. Fellas.
Oh, it's not me. Listen, it's not me.
I didn't say you. I'm just saying in general, fellas, because the conversation's very different in the ladies' football group.
I understand
Our critiques are very different. They're not. I sat in on I think I might have sent it to y'all. I sat in on a Twitter Spaces from our Eagles Talk account.
Right.
Insane. It sounded like a hen house. These dudes was going off, screaming, cussing. It was a mess.
Wow.
It was a mess.
What were they talking about?
The game, Jalen,
Sirianni.
All of them. Sirianni. It was just messy. It was just messy. It's not constructive critique. It was just, I was very disappointed that we can't have a football conversation that's normal. So I jumped back in the ladies chat. I was just listening to get some other perspectives from some of the content creators that post a lot on Twitter.
Right.
And it was all over the place. It was heavily charged emotions about what they wanted to see or what they didn't see or what they didn't like or who has to do better. And all of those criticisms can be valid, but it was super, super deranged. Super deranged. And some of the callers that have been calling into sports radio. So I kind of tuned out of a lot of sports radio because you can't have a constructive conversation only after week 3. We talking like it's week 16.
That's your boy Hugh.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta call Hugh up. You call Hugh up.
We talking like it's week 16.
I'm gonna say this, Nisha. The crazy thing about it, yes, I tuned out to all these shows. The Joes, the Hughes, the Ikes, and this is Philadelphia media I'm talking about. If anybody don't know anything from WIP, the crazy thing is that they get so emotional to understand that we're 2-1. We're one catch away from being 3-0. And I said last week before the game that loss might have opened up a lot of things, a lot of eyes for this team, especially the defense, that they have to be better. They can't just cruise to a victory anymore. They have to be more efficient. They have to buckle down and stop the run. They have to be more getting after the wide receivers, stop being soft, right? This Saints game, you saw players not being soft. You saw after that cheap shot against our 1A, our 1B receiver, right? Devontae Smith, how the offensive line reacted, how Saquon reacted with a 65-yard touchdown, the longest rush of the season so far. Like that, the team came alive. We put up 14 points straight after that. So the team was ready to do whatever at that particular time. Yes, the play calling was trash. Yes,
they ready to bench the quarterback and fire the coach.
There were
some one team like that, like from a business sense.
Yeah,
like if you were Jeffrey and Howie, would you do that? No.
No.
If you were any NFL, would y'all want to be Bengals fans with the all hype of the quarterback? Everybody loves our quarterback, but I'm sorry, he's 0-3.
Yeah, well, that's that fantasy football line of thinking when you're ready to get rid of the coach and the quarterback after 3 weeks. Come on, man, we have to stay in the reality of the game here. It's 3 weeks, and our team has a winning record, for Christ's sake. I mean, after what we saw at the end of last year, I think we all should be really happy to be sitting 2-1. And I get it. We have PTSD from last year. We do. I have to admit it. We started off 10-1. So I get it if it looks eerily similar to last year when we were squeaking out wins. But this feels different. This really does feel different. It feels like we're getting our feet under us, that we understand now, and we should, because we have the experience of last year. We understand now that there's going to be a transition process with 2 new coordinators. Although these coordinators are more experienced than the ones we had last year, it just feels different to me. Like Vic is finally got out of his defensive unit what he has been seeking since he got them, since he inherited them. And that doesn't happen overnight. We all know that they don't play much in the preseason. There's a new system coming in. It doesn't happen overnight. We're going to see this team gel even more, I feel, in the coming weeks. So let's be happy with each win that we can manage to squeak out as we get to that level of proficiency and a high standard.
It's not enough, apparently, for people. You know what I mean? They want perfect blowouts every week by at least a touchdown, 10 points or more. That's the unrealistic expectations in an NFL, in a highly competitive league that we don't even know who's going to show up week to week by injuries and what's happening with the top teams. With the top teams, we could talk about interceptions, but guess what? If you look at the past 4 years of interceptions, and guess who leads the league all time in interceptions? He's a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Brett Favre, right?
Brett Favre.
Yes, I just said that. I made that same point before you got on.
Right. So like all the Hall of Fame QBs, whether it's Brett Favre, Vinny Testaverde, go back, check the stats. When you take more risks, you throw more picks. So what y'all want? You either want a Hall of Fame quarterback that's going to take the risk and push the envelope, or you don't.
I agree.
Because him and Pat Mahomes stay neck and neck in their turnovers year by year.
And they are neck and neck right now. They're tied with 4 apiece. So you guys, and I made that point also. Even the point about Josh Allen, who had just as many interceptions as Jalen had last year. But on one hand, Josh is a top 3 quarterback. On the other one, you want to crucify him. What the hell? I mean, like, make it make sense to me. Why are we not?
It's called.
Somebody read this. I can't read it. Somebody read that.
Wait a minute. Sirianni is still a big liability. Before the season started, fans were told Kellen Moore was taking over play calling. The last 2 games, we have seen sequences where some plays look like last year. These sequences that make the team look unstoppable. Then we find out by Sirianni that he was making play call decisions. Point is, Sirianni needs to stay away from the play calls.
Oh, my God.
He's the head coach, y'all.
No, I know, but I agree with that. I agree. I know he's not going to happen. I know it's not realistic.
We can agree, but that's like going in, you run a department, but that's telling your boss, don't step in my department.
Yeah, I know.
But he's the boss. If he wants to step in, he's going to insert himself. What needs to happen is him and Kellen Moore need to be on the same page, and Kellen Moore and Sirianni need to have some type of agreement on when Sirianni's inserting himself. They need to get into their own rhythm, and they still have to get into rhythm as coaches. We discount that as fans, that these coaches, they're only three live games deep. So they don't even know how each other is going to react in live game action. You feel me? How they're going to make adjustments. If Sirianni trusts the play call and that Kellen draws up, those types of things. We won't even let these people get into a rhythm because we want it instantaneously and immediately.
Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Pat.
No, go ahead, Darren. I call that. Go ahead.
No, I do agree that there's nothing that we can do that is Nick is the leader of the ship. But I do agree with Eddie's the feeling. I feel that too. I said it. I feel it. And it's not to me now. I can almost tell you when Nick is interfering. I said that a couple of them plays last week. I was like, this is not Kellen Moore's MO. Like somewhere along the line, like
definitely Nick interfering.
Yeah, I mean, I could feel it, but I understand that he's the head coach. There's no way in the world that we can expect that he's not going to do what he wants to do. It's his team. He's in charge of it. I get it. I just wish that, and I heard Kelsey talk about it. They asked Kelsey a question about Nick, and he said that, and I hope that this rings true in this situation. He said that Nick is under the mindset that he'll do whatever he deems is best for the team, even as going so far as taking himself away from play calling duties as he did his first year. But I wish that he would continue on with that mindset in the middle of the game and let the people that are running the offense to run the offense. Sometimes it feels like me as though Nick is trying to make decisions just to justify his job. We see it in the corporate world all the time. People are doing things that don't make any sense just to justify that I'm in my position.
Doing too much.
Right, doing too much.
So just like that, doing too much can get you in trouble. This is a long season. We have 17 weeks in this year. 17 games, 18 weeks. It's a long season. Making these dumb play calls, overriding some things that should be. When this is the NFL. When their points are presented, you need to take those points, especially when it's a 4th and 4. That made no sense. I understand you're doing it early in the game, but you're going in halftime. Mm-hmm. Take the points, you get the ball back, right? You overrid the offensive coordinator saying we should get the points by doing what you did, and we did not get any points. Our defense was playing a hell of a game. We held a team that was averaging 40-something points a game to 3 points going into halftime.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand we came out this game and in the fourth quarter we turned it on. We started, shining. We basically clobber knocked them. But at the same time, those indecisions from the head coach to override your offensive coordinator, who's trying to put his staple on his own offense to make sure this offense has its own personality and its own identity, is going to cost you. It's going to cost us. That's all we want Nick to do. Be the game manager. Let your field generals do what's necessary for the Warriors at battle. Mm-hmm. That's all we need.
But at 2-1, I'm not having discussions about firing the coach.
Oh, no.
That makes zero sense. I'm not having discussions of benching my quarterback.
But this is Philly. We do that.
That makes zero sense. And that's, but life is exhausting as it is.
It is.
To do this week after week after week with people, it's just, I'm probably not in the headspace to even receive some of that. But one of the stats that I found interesting was
Hold on to that stat. Let's do that in the next quarter. Hold on a second.
And that's the end of the quarter.
All right, you're listening to Eagles Talk, the most unique Eagles coverage show around that's by us Eagles fans for us Eagles fans. And here on Eagles Talk, we like to talk about our favorite football team, that is the Philadelphia Eagles. We do so in such a relaxed manner that we enjoy our favorite adult beverage in the form of shots. So I know it sounds like we're bitching and whining and all that, but for real, I know I am. I'm happy to be 2-1. So we're going to celebrate and take a shot to our 2-1 Philadelphia Eagles, man. Pat is doing tequila. He's back. The shell is probably doing something spiked.
I'm drinking lemonade. It's not spiked.
No, it's not even spiked. And I am doing nothing spiked. I'm doing some cranberry juice. So, all right, let's lift our glasses. Let me know what you're doing out there as we salute our Philadelphia Eagles. So, down the hatch, 3, 2, 1.
You're now listening to the Quarter.
All right, so you were just about to share some stats with us.
Stats. And let me just clarify. If y'all want to scream and whine in the comments, knock yourself out. It's still a safe space for you to act a fool. Just keep it under wraps, okay?
Right.
I don't want y'all to feel as though you can't express yourselves.
Right.
But, so Jalen Hurts had his completion was the second highest ever by an Eagle through the first 3 games of the season. Mm-hmm. Number 1 being Randall Cunningham, my man Randall. And the other stat was he's the second QB, and that's in team history. He's the second QB in team history to complete 75% more of his passes with 30-plus attempts in back-to-back games, joining Nick Foles from the 2017 playoffs. So even with those mistakes that Jalen needs to clean up in terms of execution, looking down his receiver too much, not looking off the defender, and not carrying the ball like a loaf of bread, he's still performing at a very, very high clip that not every other quarterback in this league is performing at. So
talk about it.
That's what I'm saying. So it makes zero sense for him to get such hyper criticism when half the teams in the league would kill to have Jalen Hurts as their starting quarterback right now.
Definitely.
Let's be real.
Definitely.
Let's be real. So we need to thank our blessings that we have a top 5, top 10 quarterback in this league. And we probably have him for a very good and long time. He's strong. He has a high work ethic. He's not getting in his feelings because we're ripping him every day. Mm-hmm. And he still comes up and shows up to work and holds himself accountable. So we should be grateful because we could be sitting on fool's gold in Trevor Lawrence or Joe Burrow. Feel me? All that.
About it.
He ain't like those, or he ain't like all last year. You comparing them to, or even Josh Allen. I'm not impressed with Josh Allen right now.
No, I'm not impressed with any of these quarterbacks right now. Actually, the only quarterback I was going to be impressed with was CJ Stroud, and he's struggling. I literally just figured him out. I watched the game and I saw that he works well against the zone, but against man-to-man, he struggles. So all these quarterbacks have good things and bad things. Jalen has a very calm demeanor. He has a very straightforward demeanor that doesn't go too high, doesn't go too low. He always knows the temperature in the room or on the field, I should say, right?
Until you watch the clips and then he's screaming like a banshee.
Yeah, so the thing about us in Philadelphia, especially a fan base. They want a quarterback that throws for 350 yards, 4 touchdowns, but loses the game. So I love Jalen Hurts and the ability that he has. I want him to get much better, and I think he will get better. He has one of the highest, if not the highest, winning percentage as a starting quarterback since he took over in 2022.
Period. He had 311 yards Sunday, y'all.
He definitely did, and he could have had more. It's the efficiency that he has to improve on. That's the only criticism I have for him. Being more efficient in your decision making. Do not stare your receivers down unless they're wide open. And oh my goodness, he missed the wide open Dallas Goedert Tennessee. He was wide open. I mean, I know Dallas Goedert is slow, but he might still scored on that one.
People were hazing Dallas for being slow too. I was cracking up. I was like, if y'all leave him alone, he a big body boy. He got it. He good.
No, he's slow.
He could, but he could drag a couple people with him with his slow self. Don't get it. He'll drag you at least 4 yards.
This is the ebb and flows of quarterbacks' careers, right? You come out, and we've seen it with C.J. Stroud. You just made a great example of C.J. Stroud. You come out, you perform well, and then that's the move. And then the defensive coordinators go to the film room and they come up with a counter move. Then you have to go and work on the counter move that they put out against you to slow you down, and then you come back. Well, Jalen had a near MVP season in 2022. Last year, they came back, they kind of solved that. He went to the lab. This year, he's coming back, and he's more efficient. I know he has not, it's not showing on paper to you guys, but I'm seeing a more efficient Jalen. He's a couple tweaks, and I'm sure he'll make them before this season ends. And you'll see a dynamic quarterback again. And somebody said earlier in the comments, is Philly entitled? I think that we are to a certain, we've got to, I mean, Jalen put on such a performance in 2022, along with the rest of this team. We were outstanding. We were just so close to winning the Super Bowl. And that's the standard now that people are trying to hold this team to. Came out 10-1 last year. Still spoiling the fan base. And then it finally collapsed on them at the end of the year. The other team figured out what was going on, went to the lab, but coming back out with 2-1 again. This has been, if you guys stop criticizing so much and sit back and really take a look at what has been accomplished in 3 years, it's really a phenomenal thing. I know the collapse looks bad, but if you look at the wins and losses in the last 3 years, what team would not be happy with the success of their team if they told you they'll go to the Super Bowl one year, they'll win the first 10 games the next year, and then they'll win the first 2 out of 3 games the next year. And it looks like we may even win this week. I know we have to play the game, but this has been a very successful team. Jalen has a very successful record since he's been named the starting quarterback. Let's enjoy this. And let's not, it's not no time to panic. I'm going to put up Brad's comment right here. Dante L. Johnson. Let's fast forward to the end of the season. If a team needs an OC and they poach Moore, do you put Sirianni upstairs or let Moore take the head coaching, or keep Sirianni and let Moore walk?
What?
I don't even want to think about that. Y'all got that one.
All right. I mean,
go ahead, Dark Knight. He asked you.
No, go ahead.
No, he asked you.
I'd say that if that happened, I mean, now there's a couple factors. If this offense is as explosive as it was in 2022, I mean, we start off a little slow. We only scored 15 points last week. But let's say the offense turns around from here on out, and we're a constant, consistent 30-point scoring offense, and Jalen is hitting on all cylinders, and you definitely see that it's a result of Kellen Moore's input. And they want to hire. I would entertain. I would heavily entertain. I can't say I would pull it, but I would heavily entertain doing what I needed to do to keep Moore in the building. That I mean, you have to think about the consistency. That would be my big at the top of my list. If Jalen's a successful again, I would try to do what I could to keep the consistency with his play caller in the house. I would consider it.
Thank you. That's my whole point. Asking for disruption only disrupts the team gelling. The more y'all want things disrupted, the more you want to switch coaches and switch quarterbacks, you're never going to get a consistent gel team because you pulling and yanking the rug from under them every time you get emotional.
True.
That's not how you build a winning football team. You build a winning football team by consistent personnel, consistent reps, and consistent coaching. And you're not going to get that if we have a coaching carousel, y'all. Stop with that whole line of thinking. It drives me bananas.
As you can tell. As you can tell.
It's nonsense. That's not how you run an organization, by having a coaching carousel. We have a bad enough coaching carousel as it is.
We do.
You know what I'm saying? Look at Pittsburgh. They stuck with their coach through the highs and low. Where are they right now?
3-0.
Period.
Shoot, Mike Tomlin has never had.
We would have got rid of our coach had they had a couple. And we would have got rid of our coach if he had a couple seasons like Mike Tomlin had.
But Mike Tomlin never had a losing season though, or a 8-8 season.
But for Eagles fans,
we would have ran them out.
Super Bowl or bust, and it's a losing season if we don't go deep in the playoffs or go to the Super Bowl for Eagles fans. You feel me? Yep. Pittsburgh is smart enough to say, I can keep the same coach long as he is above 500 every year and keeps us as contenders. He's going to keep his job. Eagles fans are too entitled to think long term. You know, you like free agency. You want a revolving door of players, revolving door of coaches. It's nonsense.
Yeah, it shouldn't happen like that. But you know what? This is Philadelphia. But this comment right here, Dark Knight.
Yes, we got to take a moment out because this is my man right here. Tony Burren, Josh, his son Josh's birthday is today. I met Josh, Tony Burren, and them came over. We all met Josh. They came over they came across the pond to Philadelphia to see a game. I guess it was 2 years ago. So we got a chance to meet Josh in person. Wonderful kid, man. Yep. On his birthday. Happy birthday, Josh. Wish you many more. Tony, break the bank. Make sure he enjoys it. And I don't even have to tell Tony that. Tony brought the kid all the way across the pond for his birthday 2 years ago. So I know I don't have to tell Tony to treat that man. We made sure he got to meet
Jordan Mailata. I was like, let's go, y'all. We got this.
Happiest of birthdays, Josh. Let me see. Birdie Bravo says, we are the NFC East. We are the Eagles. Dallas, Goddard, Campbell from Washington, Barkley from Giants. I get it.
Freaking East.
He said we are EAGLES Eagles. That's what's up. That's what's up, Birdie. Thanks for tuning in. So I'm happy with getting the win, getting the W, and I choose to focus on the positive that came out of the game.
Yes,
and the defense waking up, the Georgia boys playing up to their potential. The physicality. I told you in the post game, if you squint real tight, if you just close your eyes real tight, they almost look like the 92 defensive line. But we need to. That is what I am celebrating today. That is what I'm celebrating coming out of that win. I'm even celebrating the offense because, like I said a little earlier, we were not stopped. We stopped ourselves. The New Orleans Saints didn't do anything. Their defense didn't do anything to stop us. We accounted for more of our offensive stops than they did.
Period. And we weren't even firing with all our weapons. And we had injuries and played through those injuries, y'all.
You know what? We were better. I'm not going to say this. We're not better without these guys.
No.
But when Mekhi Becton left, when Lane Johnson left, when Devontae Smith got cheap shot at that rat bastard, and AJ Brown is already on the sideline, God stepped up. Listen, Jahan Dotson did not really have a particular good game, but what he did when he ran his route to perfection that opened up that long 61-yard pass and pitch and catch to Dallas Goedert is a thing of beauty. It's teamwork. Yeah. Football is one of the most ultimate team sports in the world, period, hands down. When you're working in concert with everybody, it's like a fine-tuned violin. It sounds great. It sounds magical. Jalen Hurts became a much more efficient passer. Not only where he's efficient, the offensive line looked like they didn't lose a beat. And a doggone Saquon Barkley, man. Listen, thank you, New York. We appreciate you for that one.
That's how we felt about Tennessee when we got AJ.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
We
man.
appreciate y'all for these.
I have that
these
same
opportunities.
feeling.
All right, let's end this quarter.
And that's the end of the quarter.
All right, you're listening to Eagles Talk, the number one Eagles coverage show on Facebook that's by Eagles fans for Eagles fans. And here on Eagles Talk, we like to talk about our favorite football team, that is the Philadelphia Eagles. We do so in such a relaxed manner that we enjoy our favorite adult beverage in the form of shot. So I'm doing the cranberry juice. Pat is doing the tequila. Michelle is just sipping on some lemonade and nice refreshing drink. Okay, all right, so let's salute our 2-1 Philadelphia Eagles, and we'll talk about what they are facing coming up this week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So everybody raise your glass, and to our Philadelphia Eagles, down the hatch. 3, 2, 1.
You're now listening to the third quarter.
All right, so, man, this team.
Absolutely not.
What?
No Pedialyte today.
Oh, yeah. Pat had the Pedialyte.
Pat's on his A game today.
Yes, sir. Look, I got the water right after the shot.
He's on his A game today.
So we faced the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Last time we saw this team, they were embarrassing us in the wild card game last year. The ship had already taken on all kind of water. It was on its way down anyway, and the Tampa Bay Bucs make sure that our ship last year was indeed sunk by pouring the other little bit of water needed to take the ship all the way down. So it was an embarrassing game. Got blown out by a team that I don't think was that great, which made it even tougher to swallow. Mm-hmm. They weren't a great team, but we were a dumpster fire by that point. We get it for a little bit of revenge. What do you guys think about Sunday's chances? I'll start with you, Queen.
It's a lot of bit revenge, because you talk about holding a grudge. I'm still holding a grudge from the Warren Sapp and Donovan McNabb days when they was knocking us out the playoffs. So you know what I mean? And shout out to all my Tampa Bay folks. I get it, but not today, not with my Eagles, because I still got my Temple shirt on the day we play right now. But I definitely think that Tampa Bay is kind of that monkey on your back that you've been trying to get off for the Eagles, and they do have something to prove. And like I said, I'm very comfortable with us on the road. That's one thing I have to say about this group, even over the past 3 years. I never get worried when we travel, probably because our fan base travels so crazy too. That's probably a part of it. But I definitely think if we can clean up some of those things on offense and defense just shows up exactly how they showed up last week, we definitely can handle Tampa Bay. But Tampa Bay they have some smart coaches. They really do. They have some smart coaches. So it's definitely going to be a battle between the coaches more so than the players, to be honest with you.
Definitely, it's definitely going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle. They're injured. Their secondary players are injured. Vita Vea, I heard, was injured. Clancy, who was their outstanding defensive tackle, was injured. So it's two teams. It's the battle of the two most injured teams going at it right now to see who can do the thing with their backups, who can come out on top. But I want to throw a little stat at you real quick, because last year when we played them in the championship in the first round of the playoffs, Jalen Hurts dropped back 39 times. Of the 39 times, he was sacked. He was rushed or blitzed. Actually, blitz came 27 times. That's more than 50%. That's about 70-some-odd%. That is that is tremendous. When I say that's tremendous, that's a lot. But this year, Jalen Hurts has been a lot better. Right now, out of 38 dropbacks, he's at a completion percentage of 72.7%, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, only 2 sacks. And those 2 sacks are his fault, actually. So he has cleaned it up. He has become more proficient and more effective against the blitz. And actually, I got to give a big shout out to the offensive coordinator who realized that, we have to, when there is a blitz there, I have to create things for Jalen Hurts to escape from, not just run, but different plans. Those crossing routes itself is a man zone beater. Is a mesh concept when you have these receivers running one direction and another receiver running a different direction. That's specifically made for D-backs to run into each other if you're not playing the right coverage. It's specifically made for that. And the thing about it, Kellen Moore, is he understands that getting the ball to the running back is essential. And also, shout out to Saquon freaking Barkley, because he's a blitz picking up son of a B.
Thank you.
All right, listen, I love Miles Sanders. He was good at it, but he let some sacks get there. I can't remember the percentage because I did write them down, but I don't have it with me. But the thing with when we had Swifty had a higher percentage of blockers getting around him. Saquon is a doggone brick wall.
Listen. This offense is designed for participation by all, including our tight ends and our running backs have to be able to come in and pick up the blitz when needed. And what you said, Pat, about the crossing routes, remember that whole vanilla flannel offense to not see the anymore makes 100% difference.
Yes.
In giving Jalen the ability to escape, just because we're not running a vanilla offense. How many crossing routes we ran last season?
Like
I could probably count. Right. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Well, the long pass to Goddard was a perfect example of what you're talking about. That was a crossing route, that was a pick route, and Dotson ran it to perfection, and Goddard got 61 yards as a result of that. But I do agree, and what I would say about what you were saying about Kellen Moore, what he's given Jalen on blitzing down, and that he didn't have last year, is he's given Jalen options on when he recognized a blitz is coming. Now he have options to go to and get rid of the ball. Another thing that I like what I saw out of Jalen, and I don't hear many people talking about it, is he's stepping up in the pocket more. Haven't we talked about not wanting to see him roll out to the right? That seems to be his crutch and all that. Well, last game, I paid strict attention to what he did in the pocket. And there was multiple times where he stepped up in the pocket. And that's what you want to see from your quarterback. And he kept his eyes down the field. And that might have contributed to his high completion rate. And I'm not talking about, it was a lot of dinks and dunks, although I'm not knocking that, because if that keeps the play alive and keeps us moving the ball or matriculating the ball down the field, then I'm okay with that. But he was looking down the field, and his completion rate, he had over 300 yards passing. So it wasn't dinking and dunking. He had 311 yards. We had over 400 yards total offense. That's the proof when I say that they didn't do a lot to stop us. We stopped ourselves more than they stopped us. And looking forward to this Tampa Bay Buccaneers game, I'm with you. This is a big revenge game, especially with Todd Bowles. He seems to have Jalen's numbers. So I'm looking forward to seeing Jalen solve that. And he did last year. Let's make no doubt about it. We saw them early last year when they were undefeated and we were undefeated, and somebody's O had to go and their O went. So we're looking to do the same thing this year. And I think we have a pretty good chance in doing that if we play a more efficient game on offense. Keep the same energy, just play a more efficient game, less the turnovers, less the penalties, less Nick interfering. And our defense, if our defense comes with that same ability, that same performance, if they give me that same energy and effort that they gave me last week, I think we're going to have a great day on Sunday.
And all I want to see week by week is progression and improvement. We had a huge regression from all phases of the game at the end of last season. But if we compare season to season, let's just say Jalen, each season he's increased his number of yards per season. First season he started, he had 3,100. The next season he had 3,700. Last season he had 3,858. This season he probably could be on pace for a 4,000 yard, his first 4,000 yarder. That's the progression you want to see out of your quarterback.
I see a thumb up. Where did the thumb come from? That's decent.
What? Oh,
Like those
She do the
stats
heart.
out.
Yeah, she can do that. I don't know.
Yeah, I
I
can
don't.
do the hearts too.
That-
I got all kinds of goodies
I can't do
on
that.
Mac. Yeah,
That's a Mac thing she told me, but you got a Mac.
thing.
I got a MacBook Pro. It's for other things. But no, you're 100% right. Those stats that you just read out, as far as the stats going up and increasing, is some getting more familiar and more able to do what it needs to be done to get done as a quarterback. But that one comment before you go, Dion, Jeremiah talking about is Smith and Brown can't go. Well, believe it or not, right? Dallas Goedert was being double covered.
Mm.
On the first play where he broke it for like a good 20-something yards like that, when he broke the tackle of Tyrann Mathieu, he was double covered. That 61-yard pass play, he was being double covered. So those mesh routes, those crossing routes, not only is going to open up things for Dallas Goedert, it's going to open up things for Dotson, for Campbell, for the newly reacquired John Ross, who's probably going to play this game. Johnny Wilson needs to catch doggone football. I know that for sure. And these concepts that we have going on also opens up the middle of the field for a short pass to the running back, who we all know Saquon could do his thing when he got the ball in his hands. But now we need Gainwell, we need Shipley to get involved with this offense, especially against these teams that love the blitz. This must be the perfect game to hit them with these screens, because that would be wide open.
Dion, you late to the party, first of all.
Yeah, Dion
not
comes
starting
in.
the show over. I do want to address, everybody's talking about the storm that's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Well, that's hitting Florida. Well, my girlfriend sent me a video because I text her, make sure she was good. And she's like, it's just rain. And she's like, people are still in the pool. And she sent me a video of her complex of people being in the pool still. So let me give y'all some rain.
Really?
Yeah, she can do all that. Wow, she just
we just can't do nothing.
I know.
Some rain. So they're okay down there, Bill. Your cousin's probably fine. I guess they're used to it, like LA folks are used to hurricanes. So
all right, some comments.
Earthquakes.
Jeremiah says, if Smith and Brown can't go, then all eyes will be on Dallas. So someone else will have to step up. Dotson or Campbell will have to man up and make it happen. Campbell, Ross, you said is coming. Any word about Smith? I know Brown probably is not going to come.
Right now, these past two practices, the Wednesday and Thursday practice, Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown has been on DNP. Lane Johnson was spotted at practice today doing some stretch. He didn't participate, but he was out on the practice field as he's still going through the concussion protocol. The concussion protocol is I think, is a three-day process from Tuesday, they said. So if it was a Friday game, definitely none will be playing. But since it's a Sunday game, it's a possibility they could get cleared on a Friday or a Saturday and be available. But I'm not rushing any of those guys. We have this bye week that's coming up after this game, and the long outlook. The long outlook is the most important thing, not the short outlook. The long outlook. This is not a sprint. This is a marathon. I'd rather have Devontae and AJ and Lane for the duration after the bye.
No, we need him to play. It's the biggest game of our season.
It definitely is not.
Everybody need to play. Everybody, all hands on deck. If you can walk, if you can breathe, you need to be in this game. Except for AJ, he's the only one to get a pass. Devontae, shake it off.
No, but they find that guy. It was a 1400. What was it? 40? Let me pull it.
I hope so. I hope so. I hope they find him. He spit on him. He should have got punched in his throat.
So defensive tackle Christian Boyd was fined $4,600 for his illegal hit on Eagles wide receiver Devontae Smith. And you know what they said? A lot of people were saying that wasn't an illegal hit. The whistle didn't blow. Devontae fumbled. So if that was a legal hit and the Saints recovered the football, then that should have been the Saints football. But it wasn't the Saints football because his progression stopped at the 36-yard line.
Right.
He got hit at the 31-yard line.
Thank you.
Make it make
and he
sense.
got hit helmet to helmet. But
make it make sense.
Yeah.
It was more the ref's fault than the other guy. I mean, I thought that was kind of dirty to hit him defensively defenseless like that. But the ref should have been. He should have called they should have blown the whistle once the forward progression stopped, and they did not, and that caused him to get hurt. So I hope that that official got his hand slapped as well, because he was just as responsible for that as anybody else. So Dion says, I'm late in the show, but your hat is you're looking good. Exceptionally amazing this evening, ma'am. Glad I made it. Autograph that hat and send it to me. I'll handle shipping and handling.
Hey, yo.
Go ahead somewhere.
Hey, yo.
Go ahead somewhere, Dion.
And Bertie Bravo is tapping,
He
touching
still
on
want to get rid of Sirianni.
Yeah, we talked about it a little earlier, Bertie, and I'm in agreement with you. He says this series last year, the reason I asked is because if we make the Super Bowl, they're coming for our OC. That means Sirianni has to go because we're not letting our OC go.
Well, that's where Howie and Jeffrey need to put in some controls. You could finagle some deals, be like, listen, Kellen, just give us a good, strong 3 seasons and we'll make sure you get the head coaching job. But don't make this OC stop for head coaching.
Right. I agree.
I'm not beat for that. Don't make this an OC. Oh, you do one year here, get them to deep in the playoffs or get them to the chip, and then you go on somewhere else. Don't make that a habit. That's what it's becoming. You can't make that a habit.
Well, you know how you don't do that? You bring in a head coach where that's not. Look, and this might be crazy out in left field, but the reason why our OCs are being valued so more, could it be people don't respect Nick? You know what I mean? They're giving so much credit to the coordinators. They're like, yo, it can't be. He's only successful because of his coordinators.
Is it that, or is it a tree effect?
Yeah, so far that could be that. That's the counter argument. But he wasn't successful when he brought in those nuts from last year. He's only been successful when his coordinators have been above average coordinators. So, you get that reputation. They're like, well, it ain't Nick. It's definitely that guy that's running that.
I just found something out, guys. Ladies, guys and ladies. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you out because I was mad about I was mad about that $4,600 fine, but the guy only makes about $100,000 a year. $1.something million a year. So it's always based off what they make. It's not based off, these penalties particular, because if a guy makes only $600,000 a year, you give him a fine for $100,000, he's pretty much playing for free.
Dion has some wise words here.
Yeah. If there's one thing I can do without the rest of the year is to get rid of Sirianni talk. Yes, he's only off to the best start of any coach. And yes, 100%. He is one of the top tier head coaches since he's been in the league. He has a winning percentage. His first year, he took us to the playoffs. I beat it. It was a 98 record, I think it was. We still went to the playoffs. The second year, we went to the Super Bowl. The third year, we went to the playoffs. You see this? Do you see this going on? Because the first year, we lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the first round. The second year, we went to the Super Bowl. The third year, we lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the first round. So that means this year it's going to happen.
Going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The thing about it is Sirianni has his ups, he has his downs. He reminds me of somebody from South Philly. I'll be honest with you. The way he acts, his passion,
so South Philly.
Sometimes you can love him, sometimes you hate him. But really, he's taking on the personality of what it is to be a Philadelphian, period.
And to his defense, like Kelsey said, like I heard Kelsey say, that this guy is very self-aware. So, and we saw that his first year, and we kind of cheered that on. At least I did when he discovered that the offense was not as effective with him calling play callings. Yeah. He took himself off of play calling duties and promoted Steichen, and that turned that season around. And it definitely had a great impact on how we performed the year after that, which we went to the Super Bowl. So, if he's that kind of guy that we applauded in his first year, if he's still that guy, then he's going to recognize And he did, because he admitted as much in the post game and his after his press conference this week, that was on him. He made those calls, and maybe he will take himself out of that situation and not do that again. So hopefully he is aware of that, and he's going to make the necessary adjustment, and we and the team won't have to bail him out this week. So, that you made an excellent point about him being the winningest coach in this tenure, in this part of, and up until this point in his Eagles career. He's the winningest coach, and that has to stand for something. It does.
Because if it was your job and you had that performance over 3 years, would you want people saying, "Well, I don't like that one mistake you made in this," or "I don't like"? Come on, that's not reality, y'all. You got to. I'll be
in the boardroom like, come on, man.
Right. You got to give people their props for the work that they put in, and don't just discount it because it doesn't look the way you want it to look week by week. Real talk.
Yeah, what we talking about? What we talking about, man?
Practice?
Come on, man.
We're talking about practice. We're talking about practice, man.
All right, let's end this quarter so we can get another quarter in real quick.
And that's the end of the quarter.
All right, you're listening to Eagles Talk, the most unique Eagles coverage show around. That's by Eagles fans for Eagles fans. And here on Eagles Talk, we like to talk about our favorite football team, the Philadelphia Eagles. We do so in such a relaxed manner that we enjoy our favorite adult beverage in the form of shots. I am doing the cranberry juice. I'm almost out, so we got to go. So he's doing the tequila.
I got to tell you, this right here.
I know. I still have my empty bottle. I'm going to use it for coquito in the wintertime because I like to have bottles. It was.
All right, so let me know what you guys are partaking then, and let's salute to our Philadelphia Eagles, our 2-1 Philadelphia Eagles. Everyone, down the hatch. 3, 2, 1.
You're now listening to the fourth quarter.
Can we talk about a little Dallas stuff really quick?
Go ahead. It's always good. It's going to be bad.
No. So.
I'm sorry.
So apparently the tea is some of those fans are hella disgruntled with the relationship between CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott.
Of course.
And they're very disgruntled with CeeDee Lamb because they was like, you ain't come to preseason, you ain't practiced most of the preseason, you didn't come to practices, and now you want to catch an attitude with Dak. Oh yeah, they was going at it. So they feeling some type of way that CD is doing that, stereotypical kind of diva receiver. He's a bad boy.
Yeah,
I will give him his props. He's a bad boy, but he might have to check his attitude because some of his fans they was going at his neck.
Well, they was talking about the thing about not only that he's not in sync with the quarterback down there, that they're not running the ball, and that's their fault. And, especially after the game against the Ravens, they talk about how you don't want to go get that running back, Derrick Henry. Said, we can't afford it. Well, you just played two players over $100 million. Like, you make it make sense. All right. Your run game, you got Zeke, who has 23 carries for 88 total yards. I don't know why I know that stat, but I know that stat.
Do they still have Tony Pollard?
No, he went to Tennessee, right? Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They let him walk. Well, I think that their strategy is probably going to be to bring in cheap labor. That means use a high draft pick to get a running back so they don't have to pay. Because they still have to pay Micah Parsons if they are serious about keeping him. They might have him under control one more year if they exercise his fifth-year option. But sooner or later, the check is going to become due. And at that point, he's going to demand a big as contract too, and if he get paid his worth, then like 60% of your payroll are going to be with three players. You know what I'm saying? So they still are not going to be able to afford to go out and get a top-notch running back, not a big name running back anyway. So I'm thinking that they're probably looking at the draft, drafting a running back that way. if they have plans on keeping Micah Parsons. I don't know how they do all of it, but that's not my concern. I'm just happy to hear that they are in disarray. I hate them, and I'm going after this.
Micah, every time he popping off on his podcast, I swear he wants to be an Eagle so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Just admit it, bro. Just admit it, bro.
I had to bring this up real quick. No, I'm gonna stop it after I bring this up. I'm gonna talk about it right now. Micah is due next year since they exercise the club option, $21 million.
And that's nothing compared to what his value on the free market is.
His value on the market is around $40 million a year.
Yes.
That's how dominant of a defensive player he could be somewhere else besides down there with the Cow Turds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's going to set the market on that. But, I can't wait to see them hopefully implode tonight. I hope the Giants whip their ass.
Shout out to Malik Neighbors. He's doing his thing.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all I needed him to do. They scored 2 touchdowns, call it a game, and won by 2 touchdowns. That's it.
All right. Rachel says Micah versus CJ GJ. And much talking. Rachel
Social media stuff
is Preston. Yeah. He's out there pouting. No, excuse me. Dion says the Cow Turds are the most valuable franchise in sports. That we can't afford Derrick Henry is BS. Well, not, we have caps. Now, if we were playing under the baseball rules, then yeah, I would say, yeah. If we were playing under the baseball rules, it'd be a whole different ballgame. They may be a juggernaut right now because they are the richest franchise. And if there was no salary cap, they could afford to go out and buy a whole all-star team. So thank God there is a salary cap in play where they have to fit these salaries under some type of structure. Yeah. And there's some type of limit. So I'm glad to see them struggle. They're going to be in trouble for a while with that salary cap mess. And I don't see anyone over there that even slightly resembles a Howie Roseman, meaning a cap wizard.
Yeah. And I'm not sleeping on Dallas. Yeah, I like to see them in disarray, but they do have the components to put together a decent run. I'm not going to sit here and discount that.
I don't think so. I'm gonna be 100% honest.
Yeah, their rush defense looks worse than ours.
They don't have that rush offense. They don't have anything to mediate Dak throwing 50 times a game. So you don't have anything to smooth that out with the run game, to make defenses really fear you. Like, you put me in a situation where I'm dropping back all the time. Like last week, the Ravens played it safe. That's why they came back. But if they were playing like they were playing the first 3 quarters, that game would not have been close. It wasn't close. You had somebody in the stadium reading a doggone book at one point. So the thing about it is, I don't have, as far as the Giants, as far as the Cow Turds, they don't worry me.
The Redskins do.
That's the only team right now.
They worry me only to a certain extent. I mean, their offense, that young man is
he's cooking.
He's cooking. And but they don't have any defense, and their defense has to improve drastically for me to worry about them. But they do have an offense to be able to outscore you as this young man gets better week after week, and we've seen him get better in 3 weeks. His last game was the best game of his career. And I've seen him, improve every week, and it's just going to get better and better. So in that sense, I'm afraid of their offense of being and their ability to put up points, but their defense can't stop nothing.
So really, really quickly onto this game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The thing about Baker Mayfield, he tears up defenses that do not get pressure. So it was very, very vital for our front 4/5 to bring that same pressure they brought against Derek Carr against the Saints against Baker Mayfield, right? That same front, because what Vic Fangio changed on this defense was going from a wide 3-3-4 to a 4, almost like a 5-1 front. He dropped Bond down to the left defensive end. He had Derek. What's his name? Brandon Graham crash inside, and Nakobe Dean scraping up. Like, it was a masterclass on how a defensive coordinator needs to make adjustments for his team to be better than what they were the week before. And if he just keeps improving, the defense keeps improving and playing with that, it's going to be a very difficult defense to score and get points upon. Because, I mean, we won, 15-12 the last week? What was the score? 15-12, I think it was?
Yeah, 15-12.
But it can very well just been 15-3. Or 15-6. That's how well this defense is put together. They only scored one touchdown. Touchdown against
3
a team.
points at the half. That was great.
One touchdown. A team
was cooking.
A team a week before they could not get on the field and not score a point. You know, they were scoring a point every time they touched the field. So for this guy and for C.J. Gardner-Johnson, for Reed Blankenship, for our cornerbacks, for anybody that gets on the field, keep your head up, play the game, understand your assignment. When you do that, we can be unstoppable on that side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna go watch. I am at least go watch the Cowtards and root for them to lose.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Definitely do that. So we'll be back on Sunday for pregame. What's that? A 1 o'clock game. We'll be on at 12 noon. So come check out and get ready for the game with us. Eagles Talk, man. We'll see you guys on Sunday.
It might be a rainy one.
It might be a rainy one. Until then, you guys enjoy yourselves. We'll see you on Sunday. Take it easy. We're out. Peace.
We go live in 5, 4, 3, 2. Smash him up, crack that fool. Quarterback crack, yo, sack that fool.